Rescue, Kevin Byrne and Michael Page. Thank you for your courage and Semper Paratus. USAA and the Padres, thank you for your commitment and selfless service to our great nation. We now ask all fans to please rise and remove your caps as our veterans in the crowd salute the flag. Presenting our nation's colors today, the Coast Guard Sector San Diego Color Guard. Next, please welcome Petty Officer Mike Gallagher from U.S. Coast Guard Aids to Navigation Team San Diego. Please sing along as Petty Officer Gallagher presents the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
up the middle looking for a double play. And they're going to get it. Oh, he bobbled the ball, and the Padres are going to win it 8-7. Oh, my. A dramatic win last night in the 12th inning. Nick Hundley and the Padres looking for their 4th win in a row and a possible sweep of the San Francisco Giants this afternoon. And a happy Sunday. Hope it's a fun day, run day for us all. Mark Grant, Dick Enberg. It's been dramatic baseball. The last 3 wins by the Padres, 2-1, 2-1, and then 8-7. And the bullpen, well, Bud Black used everybody but the kid Erlin last night.
If your starters are not going to go deep into the ball game, 7-8 innings, you got to rely on the arms of the bullpen, and it's been a challenge. But look at these numbers. The last 11 games, only 6 earned runs allowed. Folks, that's a 1.33 ERA in 42 innings. But the big thing that sticks out to me, Dick Enberg, is that making good quality pitches against good lineups and only 13 free passes. That means they're being aggressive, they're putting the hitter on the defensive, and they're getting great results. Keep it up, bullpen, because you know what? They're going to need those arms out of the bullpen.
And you talk about a double threat athlete. How about Yonder Alonso? He has 3 doubles last night. It's almost as if he had a magnet in left center field. All 3 went to the same spot. And the first one drove in 2, and the last one became the winning run of the game.
Well, he is locked in, and that's his strength, splitting the right center field gap and the left center field gap. Pitches that were up out of the zone, getting the top hand on it, and going down and getting it. And then how about the athletic ability for the first baseman? But everything's going his way right now. Swinging the good bat, flashing the leather, and believe me, first base, he needs to be defensive over there to help his pitchers get through some quick innings.
Well, we wrap up the homestand, a chance for 4 in a row. Nick Hundley has been a key part of the success of these last 3 wins. Let's go for more down to Kelly Kroll. Kelly.
Thanks a lot, Dick. Well, such a great team win, and as you both said, in dramatic fashion. I talked to a number of the guys in the clubhouse this morning who said they were so amped up after this game last night. They had a hard time falling asleep, rightfully so. They can certainly build on this win. Nick Hundley, just one of the men of the night. This is our Geico quote of the game.
Oh, it gives us great momentum. It gives us a series win in the division. Gives us a chance to sweep, get down early. We had some really quality at-bats throughout the game. That was cold. And these are new batting gloves.
No worries. Nick Hundley did get some new batting gloves today, and he said the result well worth all the rest of that. So these guys looking to return the sweep favor today in Game 3. Back to you guys in the booth.
And we're getting set now as the umpire's out. The lineup cards have been exchanged between managers Bochy and Black, and set for Game 3 under ideal San Diego conditions. Another Chamber of Commerce day here in downtown San Diego and Petco Park. The park in the park, Mark Grant, that looks like a picnic festival out there.
Yeah, bring your blanket, bring your picnic basket, and enjoy some food on an absolutely gorgeous day. And you know what else is great? Is taking a look down on that field and seeing members of the U.S. Coast Guard out there at each position. And the Padres are out there to greet them in their camouflage jerseys. What a treat for both of them.
They exchange greetings and handshake. And it's a meaningful time for each baseball player, each Padre, as it is for the members of the Coast Guard. And Military Day special. We have the Marines from Camp Pendleton, nearly 400 of those as well. So it'll be a special Sunday as always at Petco Park. Let's look now at the Giants lineup, brought to you by Hyundai. And Bruce Bochy only making one change. Pagan, Scudero, Sandoval, Posey. Pence had a big triple last night that gave the Giants the lead at 7-6. Belt and Gregor Blanco in left field for Andres Torres. Torres with a key error last evening. Brandon Crawford hit his 5th home run of the year and hitting 8th, and Ryan Vogelsong on the mound. And the Padres defense aligned this way. It's brought to you by Aramco Mortgage. Blanks in left. Alexei Amarista gets the start in center field today with Will Venable in right. Headley, Cabrera, Jerko, and Alonso on the infield with Nick Hundley behind the plate, handling veteran Jason Marquis. 2 veteran pitchers, Marquis 34 and Vogelsong 35.
And the scouting report for Jason has maintained a solid, sound delivery. Last time out, he really felt out of whack, did not have command of the fastball, actually felt more comfortable with the slider. So fastball command is an issue today. for Jason Marquis. Day game, got to keep the ball down. Ball might have a tendency to jump out of the yard today.
The Giants, after starting 9-4, have lost 7 of the last 11 games. So Bruce Bochy a little anxious to come away with a win today. Mike Estabrook will call balls and strikes with Jerry Lane, Greg Gibson, and Hunter Wendelstedt on the bases.
Could you ask for a more beautiful day, Professor?
Oh my, it's absolutely perfect. Ideal conditions, sunshiny, nice cool breeze off the ocean. Kids out there ready to have a good time as well.
That's your kind of breeze, cool breeze.
There you go. And we're about set as Jason Marquis looks for his second win of the season.
Tell you, last night's victory just does wonders for a ball club, but also the staff. But their main objective now is to erase that and just keep it going. Keep a little mojo going and hopefully go for the sweep against these Giants.
And the starting pitching is going to be key today because both bullpens well used last night. 6 pitchers out of the pen for both the Giants and the Padres. Marquis says he's ready. Angel Pagan steps in and we're underway. First pitch outside, a fastball. Marquis from Staten Island, New York. Pagan, solid outfielder and leadoff man, steps in at 281. That's a strike.
One of the first 2 pitches has to be a strike. Jason Marquis rebounds nicely after that first pitch being a ball. We'll keep a track on that today.
Fouled at the plate, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Padres finish this 1-week homestand. They'll climb on their charter. Brian Perlman will get all the chicks together. Mother hen them on to Chicago Wrigley Field tomorrow night, opening a 4-game series with the Cubs. 1-2. Check swing. Did he go? No. Hunter Wendelstedt at third, waves it off.
I know Jason Marquis only thrown 4 pitches, but look at this pitch here. It's a changeup, maybe a split, but it's got great action on it, and that's exactly where you want to be when you're ahead in the count.
Very deliberate, Jason Marquis.
He's kind of slowing it down a little bit. Not a bad idea if you're out of whack with the mechanics.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Changeup gets Pagan.
Good arm action out of the hand. Boy, the old dipsy-do on the inside part of the plate. That's a split finger. You can see it out of the hand. That's a doozy, Judge. Hey, that's a great way to start off a ball game, is it not?
Absolutely.
Great action on all your pitches.
Brings up Marco Scutero, and he has something to prove today after booting the ball that led to the winning run last night, ending a 4-hour-plus marathon. Off the bat, it looked as if a sure double play, and the Giants would be out of the inning, but unable to handle it cleanly. And Yonder Alonso scored. Padres celebrated the 8-7 win. 2-0 to Scutero.
There's a guy that battles right there, Jason Marquis. He is a bulldog out there. You know, last time got knocked around a little bit, but he tried to battle, tried to make some good pitches. Went to the one pitch that was working for him. That was his slider.
It's a strike, 2-1.
The view from the Enberg suite. Looking down on Petco Park.
Why am I never there? 2-1. Good fastball at 89. Right through the swing of Scutero.
Well, you want to pitch to that guy, Pablo Sandoval, with nobody on base. So Scutero should get some good pitches. I said pitches with a P from Jason Marquis.
Up the middle. Cabrera near the bag to throw him out. Sandoval goes through his ritual before stepping in the batter's box. He draws a across and thankful for his opportunity. Does that little skip and then taps his spikes 3 times for a deceased grandmother, grandfather, and a sister who died in a car accident. There's the cross. And then the rest of the baseball fidgeting, and he's set to go. 290 is average. Runs batted in to lead the club in the top 10 National League.
You might see a split figure here, something off speed. That was a fastball right down the middle of the plate, taken.
Hit deep to right. If it's fair, it's gone. It is foul. Oh, a laser off the bat of Sandoval.
Strike 2. That's all it is.
One of our Colt or Pony Leaguers, 6,000 of the players and coaches here today, came up with a souvenir.
Oh, can he turn on a fastball, Dick, or what? Let's see if Marquis counters with a splitty here. Yep.
Fly ball to left field. Blank settles under it. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jason Marquis. Off on the right foot, the Padres, and coming up, Cabrera, Venable, and Headley, bottom of the first. And enjoy the park in the park as well as fans are on this Sunday. Let's look at the Padres lineup, brought to you by Toyota. Cabrera leading off with Venable hitting second. Chase Headley, then Yonder Alonso moves up into the cleanup spot. Carlos Quentin not in the starting lineup today. Kyle Blanks and Jed Jerko. Alexi Amarista with a start in center field. Nick Hundley behind the plate, and Jason Marquis on the mound. And the defense for the Giants, brought to you by Hyundai. Blanco, Pagan, and Pence left to right. Sandoval and Belt at the corners of the infield. Crawford and Scudero up the middle. And Buster Posey, the National League MVP of a year ago, behind the plate.
And today's scouting report is brought to you by Nissan. Ryan Vogelsong. Hey, look for the fastball. At times he will try to spot that fastball. If he is on with it, he will go in and out with the best of them with good location. Hey, you know what, folks? It's time to launch. Yes, I'm talking about launching the ball out of the ballpark. Let's see if the Padres can go long ball today off of Ryan Vogelsong.
Padres near the bottom of the league in home runs, but that doesn't mean they can't connect a couple of times today. Cabrera has 2. That ties him for the club lead. And the 6'4" right-hander goes to work. Upstairs, ball 1. He's off to a slow start in terms of his ERA. Vogelsong a 5.68 ERA, and opposing hitters batting .293 against him. Two and 0.
Well, Vogelsong is repertoire, fastball, cutter, changeup, and a curveball. High 80s, or maybe top out at 92, but consistently around 90, 91 on that fastball, Dick.
Cabrera leads the Padres in walks with a dozen and takes a strike. 2-1. Vogelsong, a terrific story. Someone that was just an ordinary pitcher. Had Tommy John way back in 2003. Played in the Japanese League for 3 years from 2007 to 2009 and found himself there. Came back to the big leagues and has had 2 terrific seasons in a row. Cabrera works it to 3-1. Hasn't had a lot of luck here, as you can see. 1-2 with an ERA almost 10.
Believe me, pitchers remember that. They've got in the back of their mind, oh no, pitching at Petco Park. Not good numbers there.
Overall, he's 3-3 in his career against San Diego, and he gets a call there. 3-2. Cabrera thought he had ball 4. And he just did clip the top of the strike zone, as our Fox track shows. Brought to you by Southland Technology.
Yeah, they wouldn't lie to us, would they? Southland, right?
Absolutely not. Reliable. Full count. Struck him out. Just as Marquis struck out the Giants leadoff man, Pagan.
Swung at a ball out of the hand. Yeah, it looks good, but that good tailing action out of the hand of Ryan Vogelsong.
Will Venable starts in right field. Good reason. He's had terrific success against the man he faces today, Vogelsong. 6 for 10. Couple of home runs for Will thus far. Ball should fly a bit today. Ideal conditions. Out of play. Another good crowd. Looks as if this series, 3-game series, is going to attract 100,000 fans.
Yeah.
73,000 plus for the first 2 games.
Not a bad seat in the house. Enjoying a big league ball game.
Strikes out Venable. 2 up, 2 down on strikeouts by Ryan Vogelsong.
And with the fastball as well. Evan Cabrera swinging at a ball. Will Venable swings at a fastball that's on the outside corner. You got to protect there. As I mentioned earlier, Ryan Vogelsong will throw that fastball. So these Padre hitters have to look at that fastball to crush.
Chase Headley. Chase with 1 hit last night, a double. In 5 at bats, and he fouls the first one back. Again off the plate. The hitting stars last night. The partnership of Kyle Blanks and Yonder Alonso hit back to back, and each with 3 hits and 6 for 11 overall. They're hitting 4th and 5th today. Change up. 1-1 to Headley.
Like to see Yonder Alonso come up to the plate today with many base runners. Give him a chance to get on base as Kyle Blanks is in the hole waiting to get up to the dish.
Off third, Sandoval may have a play just out of his reach. Lots of orange splashed around that area of the ballpark as Giants fans have come down to beautiful San Diego for the series. A pitch away from striking out the side, Ryan Vogelsong.
Seems like a lot of pitchers lately have been trying to pitch Chase Headley up in the zone, up and away. You know, it is early for Chase, kind of somewhat going through a mini spring training, so you'll see a lot of hitters offer at that high pitch and go for the strikeout.
That ball hit well to center field. Pagan going back, and Headley will touch them all. Chase Headley's second home run of the season, his first hitting left-handed. A bolt to straightaway center.
This ball was crushed, folks. Boy, Chase, look at how quick he is to the baseball. It's elevated and taking it right up the center of the diamond. That is a beautiful swing.
Headley gets the Padres in the lead here in the first, 1-0. Yonder Alonso, 286 his mark. And he's hit well here at home. Yonder Alonso batting .381 in the games played here at Petco so far this year. Ground ball to Belt at first base. He'll take it to the bag himself for the third out, but the Padres on Chase Headley's second home run of the season to straightaway center field. Celebrate an early 1-0 lead. When they score first, they're 5-2 this year.
A solo shot to center. Yonder Alonso, a big night for him last night, 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. And he said after the game he was so amped up he couldn't fall asleep. Decided at 1 a.m. he's going to call his barber, guys. He comes over, gives him a fresh new haircut, and he said then I was able to fall asleep. So
but Buster Posey taps out. Marquis doing a good job defensively, 1 away.
So that, what happens if I need to fall asleep? I can't get a haircut. Is that the problem?
These young fellas playing this great game and making a nice salary, they can have what they want. Hunter Pence. Pence with 4 home runs. Knocked in a couple with a triple last night. Free swinging, free spirited character, Hunter Pence. Lines that one into the left field corner. That's away from Banks and fair ball. Blanks digs it out. Pence pulls into second with a ringing double to left. The first Giants hit.
Well, it looked like an off-speed pitch from Jason Marquis, and Jason will be the first to tell you that, you know what, I can't leave a hanger over the outer third of the plate. It'll speed up the bat. You know, we talk about speeding up the bat all the time. Late on a fastball at times, and then when the breaking ball, it's a softer pitch, so the bat has a greater chance of catching up. That's an example of what happened right there. Jason's got to be a little bit more careful and place that slider more down and away to Pence.
Brandon Belt steps in, the first baseman. Belt last night went 0 for 4, was hit by a pitch, and that became a run in the second inning. He was hit. Pence had forced Buster Posey, who had walked, so the walk and the hit batsman became runs when Brandon Crawford hit a 3-run homer into the Petco porch. Two and 0. Rego Blanco on deck.
The idea here for Jason Marquis, I would think, is to keep the ball in front of the runner at second base. Sinkers down and away, something that Belt cannot pull to the right side. So a nice grounder to Chase Headley would be perfect here. It frees that runner at second base.
Change up way outside and low. 3-0. A 1-out double. Hunter Pence at second base, the tying run. And a 4-pitch walk. Brandon Belt aboard. First walk by Marquis.
So we've seen difficulty with the fastball, and as I mentioned earlier, that's what Jason said about his last start against the Brewers. Just didn't have the fastball command, didn't feel comfortable with his sinker, and it all starts with the sinker in the zone. Getting ahead with that and then expanding with either a sinker down or a slider on the other half of the plate.
Blanco, the left fielder, at 276. Did not play last night. He was 1 for 2 in the Friday night game, won by the Padres 2-1. Lines that to right field, and playing it on a hop is Venable. Quick throw in, and the bases are loaded. Pence had to hold to make sure that Venable didn't catch the ball. And the Giants threaten here now with 1 out. Double, walk, single. And here's Brandon Crawford, who hit a 3-run homer his first time up last night.
Mini jam, yes, but Jason Marquis knows that one good sinker, one good slider here can get him out of the inning with 1 out. And the base is loaded. A force at any base. But Hunter Pence, as you mentioned, Dick, he's got to wait till that ball hits in the outfield before going 90 feet.
Well, Pence at third, the tying run, then Belt at second, Blanco at first. And Crawford hitting 8th, but the leading home run hitter for the Giants so far this year with those 5. If you weren't with us last night, all last year he hit just 4. He's got 5 in April this year, and he hits this ball well to center. Amarista is out there to make the catch, tagging his Pence. The throw comes in, and Pence has tied it 1-1. Sacrifice fly for Crawford, 14th RBI of the year.
Jason Marquis trying to work down in the zone to get a grounder. Brandon Crawford looking for something elevated. He did just that, swinging early. Nice easy swing for the fly ball to center field.
That brings up the pitcher, Vogelsong, with runners at first and second, 2 outs. There's his career numbers. No home runs, 6 runs batted in. This year he's 0 for 7.
Hey, you get out of this with just 1 run, you're golden, right? Hopefully Jason can get that release point down. Leave it at 1. Leave those runners out there at first and second, and put up zeros the rest of the way.
Belt at second, Blanco at first. Fastball misses. Marquis stares in. Thought he had a strike. That's on the outside corner.
He needs a wipeout pitch right here. You know it's the pitcher Vogel song. Put him away here.
Goes with the breaking ball, 2-2. Leadoff hitter Angel Pagan would be next. Struck him out. Well enough. That could have been a very troublesome inning for Marquis and the Padres, but Giants get only one to tie it. He brought his broom along. Padres and Giants tied at 1 as we go to the bottom of the second. The Padre bullpen in the last 40 2/3 innings has allowed only 6 earned runs. That's a 1.33 ERA, and there they are. They've all done an outstanding job.
And Dick, that leads us to our AT&T Twitter poll today. Here's the question: which Padres reliever has been the most dominant this season? Use the hashtag. Get on Twitter. Have some fun with it. Hashtag Gregerson, Thayer, Thatcher, Brock, Street. A, B, C, D, or E. Be sure to use the hashtag. And we'll be back with the results later in the game.
Well, that's going to be a tough one because they've all contributed.
You know what? I like
positively.
I like every one of those guys. Obviously, I'm a big reliever fan, but the one that sticks out to me is Dale Thayer. Just his repertoire, his fastball, his command. The ERA is nice, and that's not dissing any other of the relievers of the Padres. But Dale Thayer sticks out to me.
Thayer worked 2 innings in the overtime game last night.
Yeah.
Allowed only 1 hit. Kyle Blank starts it for the Padres here in the second. Big Kyle with 3 knocks last night and drove in a key run in the 7th inning to tie the game at 7. Blanks, then Jerko, and Alexi Amarista here in the second.
Hey, Dick, if Kyle Blanks gets a hold of one today, it could be like Dave Kingman all over again. He might hit one to the fire station down. What is that, J Street down there, straight out past the bullpens here at Petco Park?
Kyle trying to make a lot of noise. Stay here with the big club. 2-2.
A menacing figure in that batter's box. That bat looks like a toothpick compared to his physique.
Fouled at the plate.
Yeah, got to wear your lid to the ballpark today.
Yeah, this is a Sunday bonnet day. Very chic. Both pitchers, Marquis and Vogelsong, taking their time. Swing and a miss. A weak wave by Blanks on the changeup. That's 3 strikeouts early for Ryan Vogelsong.
Free and easy motion from Ryan Vogelsong. And this is the changeup. You can see by the swing. The swing actually from Kyle Blanks almost looks like it slows down. You see out of the glove, the circle change grip.
Jed Jerko. He had a key hit last night in that 12th inning. His single to right field moved Alonso to third base, where he eventually scored on the ball hit by Hundley to the second baseman Scudero. Jed also with a double in the 5th inning. 2 for 5 for the night. Nice feature article on Jed in the UT Sunday edition today. That went off the mask. Buster Posey. He was an all-state basketball guard as well as an all-state baseball player. And at 5'10", claimed he could dunk, but not a basketball, a volleyball. He said he couldn't, his hands weren't big enough to palm a basketball. Yeah, it's still climbing up there. Huh?
Sure it is.
Could you dunk?
A donut.
I knew that.
I dunked a donut this morning, actually, on my way to work.
On your way to work? Yeah. That's dangerous. So you got to.
No, I stopped at a place.
I thought maybe while you were driving in, you wouldn't do that.
No, it's against the law. You get a ticket for that.
Yeah. Plus, you get all that glazed stuff all over your nice tie.
Yeah, actually, it was an old-fashioned cake donut.
1-2. Reached out and fouled.
That was a hanging breaking ball. It's kind of lunging out in front. Is that fan snags one? Souvenir? Oh, that's a sweet lid right there on that gentleman. Yeah.
You've got one like that. The straw?
This guy right here.
Yeah.
The straw hat there? Yeah.
You taking a hat to Chicago?
Yeah, that's awesome. I have not. I did not pack a hat for Chicago. But maybe I'll buy one there. No more than $10 though.
Outside, 2-2 to Jerko. A 1-1 tie. Chase Headley's home run in the first inning, the Padre run. Surveying the lids.
That's sweet. Jed's got to stay on that breaking ball.
Another strikeout for Vogelsong and another off-speed pitch. 2 strikeouts in the first, and he struck out the first 2 men, Blanks and Jerko, here in the second.
Back-to-back strikeouts on the changeup. Kyle Blanks changeup. Jed Jerko changeup. He's got a good feel for that pitch this afternoon, early on.
Brings up Alexi Amarista. And he starts him off speed. Curveball. 224. Made his hits count. He's got 6 RBIs. Played in every game. The only Padre to start every game is shortstop Everett Cabrera, but Amarista, although not a regular starter, but Black likes his versatility and gets him in there. 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes.
You know, Dick, you make a good point, because with that said, you know, you've got an idea of coming to the ballpark saying, you know what, I'm going to be playing today, right? And that's a totally different mindset coming to the park, knowing that you can make a difference, whether you're starting or whether you're going to have a pinch hit appearance or a pinch running appearance.
Lays in a strike, 3-1. Can play all 3 outfield positions. He can play, won't be at first base because of his size, but he could play all 4 infield positions. Probably could catch if you wanted him to. And the count goes full. Vogelsong, a collegian at Kutztown State in Pennsylvania. Made the All-Star team after coming back to the States from Japan. 2011 when he won 13, lost only 7, and then he won 14 last year. Line drive, base hit. Amarista takes a turn and holds as Pence plays it in. Padres have their second hit.
Ryan Vogelsong going to the well once. Yep, that was a changeup. Yep, one too many times there. Blanks changeup strikeout. Jerko changeup strikeout. Amarista stayed back nicely on that changeup.
Brings up Nick Hundley. Hundley up last night with runners at first and third and 1 out, and hit a shot at second baseman Scudero. Ate him up, and the Padres won. And he hits this one deep to left field. No one's going to catch that unless you're a fan. Touch them all. The Padres get a 2-run shot from Hundley and lead it 3-1. Must have heard you, Mark Grant. Time for some long ball hitting. Home run hitting. 2 in 2 innings.
First pitch offering, fastball down and in, and Nick Hundley puts a perfect swing on it. Yeah, that'll wake everybody up.
Marquis swings at the first pitch and sends a fly ball to center, and it's Pagan in front of Pence to make the catch. But the Padres, with 2 outs, get a single from Amarista, and Nick Hundley ropes one into the Western Metal Supply Company, and the Padres enjoy a 3-1 advantage.
Top of the third, and joining me now, Captain Sean Mahoney, Sector Commander of San Diego. being here because the Padres honoring the Coast Guard this afternoon, and you got to be a part of the salute. What was that experience like for you?
It was tremendous to be down on the field there. Our crew got recognized. We had Chief Petty Officer Shea here. He's the enlisted person of the year for the whole district. He got to throw out the first pitch, and he was just thrilled. He got his ball signed right after it was done. We also had many of our members got to take the field. They do, military members take the field at these Sunday games that the Padres have. And then the Padres come out, shake their hands, and they just get a thrill out of it.
What have you heard from your members about some of maybe the conversations they had, or what the best part was?
I think they just enjoyed being down there with the players. I mean, who doesn't play ball when you're a kid on your street? You know, getting out of the way every time a car comes or whatever, and sort of dream about coming out to the field and being on the real in the actual ballpark. So.
And just for a minute, let's talk about the responsibilities of the members that you work with, because for some people in San Diego, they may not know everything that entails.
Well, the Coast Guard's known a lot for the search and rescue functions that we do. I mean, we launch for cases around the clock. We have small boats. We also have helicopters, the H-60 helicopter in San Diego, right on Harbor Drive by the across from the airport there. So we do that, rescue people when they're in distress. Of course, we're also involved in law enforcement, so there's a lot of smuggling in this area. And we keep busy with interdicting narcotics offshore. So that's another thing that we do.
A huge responsibility. Well, thank you so much for being here today and for all that you guys do. We hope you enjoy this game. It couldn't be a more beautiful day, could it?
Well, thanks. We appreciate the Padres taking care of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Captain Mahoney. Guys?
Yeah, we got the U.S. Coast Guard, Kelly, on shore here at Petco Park, and Commander Mahoney obviously very enthusiastic about the opportunity to be here today. Pagan slices one out to blanks for the first out. Marquis battling out of a 3-0 start with Pagan.
You know, the one thing that the captain mentioned is that being on the field, it's one thing going to ballpark and being able to witness a game and see the field, but until you actually go down on the field, stand on the pitcher's mound, stand on that first base line, home plate, outfield, boy, I tell you what, it's a great feeling.
That's why the kids will line up in the 8th inning. They get to run the bases after the game today, and we've got thousands of Pony Leaguers with us, just as we had the softball ladies last night, and they sure made a lot of noise. They helped the Padres get that win in 12. Scudero grounded to short the first time. Marquis falls behind again, 2-0.
Oh, bringing me back to the late 80s, that uniform there. Nicely done, guys.
It's a whole Padre unit. And just as he fell behind 3-0 to Pagan, 3-0 now to Scudero. This is before the game, as the thousands of young baseball players paraded around the warning track from left field all the way around to the right field corner. 3-1.
How many wows were said today with all those kids walking on the warning track around the field?
Amazings, too.
Yeah. Or sick. A lot of six, too, probably.
Marquis comes back, 3-2.
Your first time walking on a big league field?
Walked on it?
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't until probably the mid-'60s when I was the pre and post game announcer with the Angels.
So never got a chance on Tiger Stadium?
Never on the field.
Yeah.
Ball 4, Scudero. One out walk. That's the second given up by Marquis, and brings up Pablo Sandoval.
My first time was fortunate. I was fortunate enough to go to Old Comiskey Park in Chicago as a junior in high school, and they had an all-area team, and they introduced us behind home plate. And to stand on the field was like, oh wow, this is pretty nice. That's awesome.
Did you meet any of the players?
I did not, but it was right before first pitch. So, but just to stand there, because my dad used to bring me to Old Comiskey Park in Wrigley Field to watch games. So to actually step foot on the field is, man, awesome. Great.
Sandoval just missed a home run his first time up, and then flied to left. Pablo with 3 hits last night, 2 singles and an RBI double. 1-1.
Well, Mark Sweeney is enjoying the sunshine down there by the dugout. Mark, do you remember your first time walking on a big league field?
Oh, yeah, I do. And it was actually in St. Louis. Did not know where the locker room was. And very nervous, to say the least. And then I saw my jersey name on my jersey.
Yeah.
And it really sunk in. Pretty special.
Struggling with his control here in the third inning. He went 3-0 on Pagan, then finally got him to fly out. Called behind Scudero and on a 3-2 pitch. Walked him.
Mark Sweeney, Dick Enberg mentioned about how Marquis, and he was right about Jason kind of slowing down his mechanics. You kind of see him slowing it down, trying to get everything in sync there.
Yeah, very deliberate by Jason Marquis. I think that's a great idea. And you said it earlier, just trying to get into those mechanics earlier.
There's Sandoval golfing one into center field. So 2 on for Buster Posey with 1 out. He just is flat out a great hitter.
And you know what, the way you look at it, sure you can strike him out, sure he will get out, he's going to put the ball in play, but if you can keep him in the yard, I think you've done okay. Give him the single. That's going to happen. One pitch, you get a grounder, you get a double play here.
Posey skidded one out in front of home plate that Marquis fielded and threw him out. Last night, Posey, a walk, a double, a single, 2 for 4. He had 2 hits Friday night.
Well, there are 5 Giants that have grounded into 3 double plays, and that is the team lead 3. Buster Posey is one of those Giants.
Finally going out to talk to Marquis briefly, and then Cabrera coming in. Get the sign as well. Scudero, a veteran, looking in right through Marquis at the signs of Nick Hundley. Posey with an 8-game hitting streak. Falls behind Posey 2-0. That's 5 hitters that have gone 2-0. Marquis not getting that first or second pitch in for a strike, as you suggested.
And the ball strike ratio really not what Jason wants. 21 balls, 23 strikes, total for 44 pitches here in the top of the 3rd inning.
3-0. Let's take a look at our Sequan Casino Daycation statistic of the game. The men of Bruce Bochy do not strike out much. The Dodgers the least strikeouts so far this year, then the Giants and the Miami Marlins.
Just put the ball in play, give your team a chance.
Now each hitter has gone to a 3-ball count here in this inning. And now the bases are loaded. Now Marquis is working himself into some big trouble. Bases loaded on 2 walks and a single. And Hunter Pence the batter.
You know, Mark, going back to your question about Jason Marquis being very methodical today, from the hitter's perspective, makes you feel a little bit more comfortable that you don't feel rushed. So it actually can be a benefit to the opposing hitters, just understanding they're very calm in the box and they can rehash what their plan is of attack. So it can help from both ways.
Now, speaking of plan of attack, we have the bases loaded right here in Hunter Pence. Now, what do you think? I know you can't read his mind, but what is his philosophy? Is it going to be, okay, he just threw 4 wide ones, I'm going to take? Or I've heard people argue, Mark, that, you know what, if it's right down the middle first pitch, go to hacking.
Yeah, you got to go to hacking, and you got to look for something elevated, especially with a sinker slider pitcher. You're looking for that elevated pitch that you can elevate yourself.
Because that might be the only pitch of the at-bat, right, that you get to do some damage.
Yeah, and that's Hunter Pence's forte, swinging early in the count.
Way outside, ball 1. And just as Marquis was off course in his last outing and said he just never felt in rhythm, that's what this inning's all about. And he's facing a man that rattled one into the left field corner for a double the last time up.
Boy, if anybody ever needed a ground ball, it's right here, Jason Marquis. Force it any bag. Grounder, get 2.
Scudero at third. Sandoval the potential tying run at second. Posey at first. 1 out. See how far out of the strike zone that first delivery was for Pence. 2-0. Last night, opposite field, just out of the reach of Kyle Blanks. That scored 2 runs and gave the Giants a short-lived 7-6 lead. Padres would tie it on RBI single by Kyle Blanks and then win it in the 12th. Now he's got to throw a strike here, and the bases loaded. Pence is in the catbird seat. 6 straight balls. That's a strike. Infield playing back, looking for that possible double play to turn 2. Three and 1. That's 7 balls in the last 8 pitches from Jason Marquis. Robbie Erlin getting ready. The young left-hander hasn't pitched yet in the big leagues. He was warming up last night. Ground ball to third, could be 2. There's 1, back to first. A double play. Oh my. Around the horn, double play, and Marquis is bailed out of big trouble here in the 3rd. A very difficult line, able to get the double play when it was needed most. Pence hit it hard, but right to the Gold Glove of Chase Headley, and the 5-4-3 twin killing to get out of the 3rd unscathed. Darren Balsley now a little tutoring with Jason Marquis after he came out of the inning.
Jason Marquis, this is his 13th year in the big leagues. Imagine doing it that long and still at times having difficulty with your mechanics. That's why it's such a fine line. Talking to Nick Hundley, saying, you know what, my front shoulder's flying open a little bit. My release point is off. And he and Buddy Black, the manager for the Padres, were talking as well. You know, it's such a fine line. And that's why it gets so frustrating, because he's been doing it for so long, but still, it's tough to find that groove. So Mark Sweeney, you swung the bat, you know, 100,000 times or more in your career.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how, you know what, one little thing could just throw you off.
Mark, mechanically, you can feel great. You can go into the game saying, hey, I'm mechanically sound. And mentally, it is very difficult to catch on. And you're not swinging at good pitches. You're not doing the right things you normally do. Very difficult mental game rather than physical. But that's what Jason Marquis does. He always internalizes things and always overthinks things at times as well.
Padres leading 3-1. Here in the last of the 3rd, top of the order, Cabrera, Venable, and then Headley. Just joining us, a solo homer by Headley and a 2-run shot by Nick Hundley for the 3 Padres scores. And ball 4, no, that's 3-1 now to Cabrera. Struck out swinging the first time. Well, an inning where Marquis threw 24 pitches and only 8 of them were strikes. Walked 2 and gave up a single, and Giants unable to take advantage. And Cabrera strikes out for the second time. 5 strikeouts now for Vogelsong. Sorry, I'm getting the count all messed up here with Cabrera. He's still alive at 3-2.
Isn't this game great? You know, pitcher can go out there with the ball strike ratio, not what he wants, but one pitch, you get a double play, and 1 second, you got your back up against the wall. Next time, you're in the dugout.
Slap foul down the left field side. Another outstanding crowd this Sunday. 34,000 Friday night, 38,000 plus last night. The big group of fans out there in the picnic area, the park in the park. That'll make it into the crowd again.
You think about it. Coming to a ball game, does it get any better than coming to Petco Park or sitting out in the park at the park? I mean, just come on.
Your entertainment dollar. I mean, you just can't get that much entertainment. What are the folks in the park? What is that, $7? And they're able to.
It's a great deal.
Sit out there, enjoy the game. There's a big screen TV on the back of the hitter's backdrop for them to follow the game, as well as they can come down into those stands in back of the sandbox. Scudero takes care of Cabrera. 1 away, and Will Venable steps in.
I hope Mark Sweeney has got some sunscreen on down there, some UV protection of some sort, because the glare is killing me.
Yeah, you can barely notice it, right?
Seriously, is it nice down there?
It is beautiful down here. It
Too
actually
hot?
is
Kind of nice.
No, it's you got a breeze.
Okay.
But you know what? SPF definitely works today.
Venable pounds one. First baseman Belt takes care of it unassisted. 2 away.
Hey, Mark, did you play in St. Louis when it was turf?
Oh, yes, I did.
And that's some kind of hot.
One of the hottest atmospheres ever on the turf. And actually, I played first base one day. In between pitches, I'd go to the dirt just to cool off.
Wow.
Of the cutouts on the base pass, just to get out there and in between pitches, constantly going back and forth.
Yeah, because your cleats would get hot on that turf and it'd like burn, blister your feet sometimes.
Not a fun day.
No.
Chase Headley in the first inning. No doubter, straight away center field. Went off the back wall. Some 420 feet to get the Padres the early lead, 1-0. Giants would tie it up in their half of the second on a double by Pence and Crawford sacrifice fly. And then Hudley in the bottom of the second inning hit a 2-run homer for a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, number 3 on the list. Most career home runs right here at Petco. Chase Headley.
2 balls and a strike to Headley.
Adrian Gonzalez with 57 and Khalil Green 34.
Three balls and a strike.
Wow, look at that salad. Looks like a sweet potato salad, right? Got that like orange color to it.
That's a yam. A yam fan. Count full again on Headley. And he earns a walk. The first given up by Ryan Vogelsong. Brings up Yonder Alonso. 52 pitches for Vogelsong, and he's not out of the third inning. Marquis thrown 51 and barely escaped the third. So the first of the 4 games from Wrigley Field tomorrow, 4:30 for the pregame show here on Fox Sports San Diego. Clayton Richard will be on the mound for the Padres against Jeff Samardzija. What a tough start for him. He has a 3.03 ERA, and yet his record is 1-4.
No support, huh? No Cubby offense for Samardzija. No luck of the Irish for the starter for the Cubs, huh?
Obviously, his surname indicates he's not Irish, but he's a former Notre Damer, is what you were suggesting.
Exactly.
Well, here are the probables, and I guess there will not be a pregame show from Chicago, but there will be post games, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then a day game on Thursday at the 11 here on Fox Sports San Diego. There are your pitching matchups. Three and 0 to Alonso.
Post game for me will be Rush Street. That's my post game.
You're going to take me out to dinner in your old town, huh? Oh, we can't. So late.
It's that toddling town. That town of towns. Chicago.
City with broad shoulders.
Yeah. State Street, that great street.
It's low, and a couple of walks. Headley and Alonso with 2 outs here in the 3rd. Something's moving around between that pitcher's plate and home plate.
Hey, like a pitcher out there who's struggling. 1 pitch for Vogelsong, right, to get out of it. 1 pitch for Kyle Blanks to put a hurt as the big ragu, Dave Righetti. Left-hander out there to have a chat with Vogelsong. Mark Sweeney spent a lot of time in Chicago, being with the Redbirds, of course, in that division. And memories of Wrigley there, Mark.
Oh, I love Wrigley Field. One of the best atmospheres you can possibly play in, and I love that old school atmosphere too. That ivy, the fans, you know it's a packed house.
Did you hit well there?
I did. I actually felt pretty good there. Probably only 5 at bats in my career because I pinch hit all the time, but that's those 5. No, I'm just kidding. Loved hitting at Wrigley Field.
Kyle Blanks has got to look for a fastball here. Be interested in seeing how Vogelsong. Remember, he struck him out the first time, Dick, with a changeup.
Now, after walking Headley and Alonso on 4 pitches, what will he get here? And a ground ball deep into the hole to throw to second. In time. Oh, Scudero kind of walking through the bag as he made the catch. And the inning is over. That was close at second. And welcome back to Petco. U.S. Coast Guard Appreciation Day, Military Sunday here as always at Petco Park. And the Padres with a 3-1 lead over the Giants. Brandon Belt, Gregor Blanco, and Brandon Crawford scheduled to hit. Both pitchers wobbly in the third. Each walked 2 men. Line drive, base hit to center field. And Belt gets the Giants started here in the 4th. That'll bring up Gregor Blanco, who singled sharply to right field his first time.
When the sinker is up, it won't sink as much. Belt is all over that one. If it's down, it's probably going to be a grounder to the right side.
First time the Giants have a leadoff hitter on. Fouled at the plate.
Well, Mr. Enberg, the numbers are in. We've done some research. Mark Sweeney, career at Wrigley Field, 36 games now. Dude, you hit 340 at the friendly confines.
I didn't lie. I felt good there.
A couple of home runs, but those were basket ones. They weren't, they just barely over the basket.
They all count the same, Mark.
And 8 RBIs. Nicely done.
Thank you very much.
That's so awesome. And it's also confirmed the wind was blowing out those days.
It feels good. It still counts the same. Actually, one of those home runs was a special day for me. I actually had a home run on the day that my nephew was born in Chicago. So I actually went to the hospital right after that and actually had the ball because they throw him back on the field. You know that. They throw him back on the field, you end up getting him.
Oh, nice. That's a great story.
Great memory. A ball and a strike to Blanco. This could be 2. And is 6-4-3. Cabrera to Jerko to Alonso. A couple of double plays in support of Marquis today.
Oh, I love the 6-4-3 in the 6-1-9. Jason Marquis rolling it nicely. And the turn at second base, Jerko looks smooth. Hey, nice stretch by Alonso as well, going down towards the home plate side.
You could almost take a photographic sequence of that double play.
Yeah.
And it's a piece of art all the way along the line. From Cabrera's fielding to Jerko's turn to the stretch by first baseman Alonso.
Yeah, and going back to that stretch, guys, seeing a good view of it over here next to the dugout. Yonder Alonso, the comfort that Dick Enberg talked about at the beginning of the game and our pregame at first base, shifting his body and doing a nice job stretching for that ball.
He really has improved over the year, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Hey, during batting practice, it's just not batting practice. Yonder Alonso is down to first base, taking grounders, working on his footwork, realizing where the throw is, stretching nicely to complete the play.
2-0 now to Crawford, a sacrifice fly his first time. And 3-0. So a single by Belt. Blanco hit it hard, but right at Cabrera for the double play. And once again, Jason Marquis falls behind the hitter, 3-0. Pitcher Vogelsong on deck. That's a strike.
All even up, 30-30. That's 50%, right, Dick? 50% strikes?
And 50% balls. Ground ball to Cabrera. And that's it for the Giants in the 4th. Bottom of the 4th inning. And we're going to see Nick Hundley again. And Hundley's 2-run home run in the 2nd inning has given the Padres a 3-1 lead. fans here at Petco rhythmically applauding, as are the ball players themselves. The Marine hymn. We had 380 Marine recruits from Camp Pendleton, 3rd Battalion Recruit Training Regiment. It's always one of the thrills of Sunday. I salute our military, and especially the Marines, who usually find a way to be here at Petco Park. And on this, Padres celebrate the U.S. Coast Guard appreciation. Jed Jerko leads off the 4th inning. He struck out swinging the first time. Padres lead 3-1. A couple of double plays supporting Jason Marquis. Giants have out hit the Padres 4-3, but 2 of the 3 San Diego hits home runs. That one into right center field, and by Pence up the alley. Could be 3. Jerko is to second, and he's going to hold there. Leadoff double by Jed Jerko. Padres endeavoring to add on here in the 4th.
Great approach, great result. First pitch, Hackett. That's a little cutter, a little slider down and away. That's very nice. He doesn't try to pull it, split the gap. What a way to start off the 4th inning with a lead-off double.
Now, you said very nice in your description. Now, how do you discern between very nice and some kind of nice?
Well, some kind of nice would be Jed Jerko going opposite field yard.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, you give him the some kind
Exactly.
if he goes over the fence.
Yeah.
Okay.
And from Mark Sweeney's standpoint, that's a good-looking swing from Jed Jerko.
Yeah, I think that some kind of nice is coming up sooner because last night you see Sergio Romo coming in the 12th and Jed Jerko taking that right field approach, that line drive that a lot of people didn't talk about because it didn't score that winning run. But you see a better approach and going to right center right there. Beautiful stuff. And that is going to be some kind of nice when he goes opposite field.
Just as Yonder Alonso going opposite field for all 3 of his doubles, I know that brought a smile to your face as well.
Sure does.
Amarista singled to right and scored on Hundley's home run. And he hits this one hard and high. Pence going back, and it is gone. Alexi Amarista, a 2-run shot, his first home run of the season. Home run derby for the Padres at Petco. It's 5-1. Now that was some kind of nice.
Oh, yeah, believe that, Professor. That looked like a changeup. He stayed on it nicely. Now, remember, his first at-bat in the 2nd inning, he singled. It was a full count. He took a changeup and singled to right field. He stayed on that changeup nicely. Wow. Couple of good swings here in the 4th for the Padres.
Couple of the youngsters, Jerko with a double and Amarista with a home run. 3 home runs for a team that had hit only 12 in the previous 23 games. Hundley's had a busy weekend. There he is last night. The one-hopper handcuffing Scudero, and Alonso scoring to win it for the Padres in the 12th inning. And then today, couldn't wait to get back into that batter's box and rips a home run to left. His 2nd of the season.
Well, the Padres got the power. Shillelagh's out today. That's Shillelagh magic here on this Sunday afternoon.
Sunday fun day run day so far. A 5-1 lead. No one out in the 4th. Trying to go opposite field.
Wow, the long ball is the story this year for Ryan Vogelsong. You look at last season, for 9 innings, less than a home run. This season, over 2 in 9 innings.
7 home runs in the equivalent of just a little over 3 games. The 3 home runs today matches the Padres high. They hit 3 against the Dodgers up at Dodger Stadium on the 17th of April.
And the key, Mark Sweeney, I know it's a day game, but still, they're hitting the ball really well in the sweet spot, is to try not to hit home runs. They put a good swing on it, square it up, it'll go.
Well, exactly that, Mark. And to your point, just looking for that ball up and elevated. You're seeing the Padres, they're getting some elevated breaking balls because he is not on with his location. You're seeing that even if you're not taking a bat. And now you're going to see better swings at the fastball as well.
Vogelsong struggling, but no one throwing in the bullpen for San Francisco.
Remember, Dick, that was our scouting report when Ryan Vogelsong took them out. Look for the fastball and launch. 3 launches today.
That's right. That was a terrific scouting report. Line drive to left field, but room not there for Gregor Blanco to make the catch. Put good wood on it for the first out. They measure Amarista's home run at 369 feet.
That one landed on the jack deck, didn't it?
Scattered some folks out there.
Love the jack deck.
I do too. As you said earlier, you'd like to do a broadcast from out there.
That would be nice.
Maybe a Sunday day out there. You can bring your favorite fedora.
We'll come in there where it will be a whomping and a whomping, and we'll drop a number 7 on them.
Marquis fly to center his first time. 2 for 11 this year. Jason with the bat.
See Jason get in the act, huh? Get something elevated, put a good swing on it.
He's got the power. 71 pitches now for Vogelsong. That's strike 3, and Marquis knew it. 5 strikeouts for Vogelsong. Top of the order, Everett Cabrera. He struck out and bounced to second.
Or the bottom of the order, Amarista, Hundley, Jerko with the double. I got to start looking at the bottom of the order, Dick, for pick the stick.
Yeah, you kind of stuck up there at the top with Cabrera.
Yeah, still early.
I think you should use reverse psychology.
Oh, you think, Sweeney?
Yes.
Going in reverse psychology.
I love that man down there, Mark Sweeney.
Two strikes on Cabrera.
Who did you have today, Mark?
I had Yonder Alonso.
Oh, that's right.
Not bad pick after 3 doubles last night.
Walk and a ground out, so he's got a point.
Dick, who do you have tonight?
I have Venable, and I'm a -1.
I'm right there with you.
Not a bad pick by Kelly Crow.
She take Headley?
She did.
Good for her.
7 points.
Kelly, how did you do your research today? Why did you go with Headley?
I told you before the game.
I wasn't listening.
I had been talking to him, and he said he was just a fraction away from feeling on point, and I felt like today was the breakout game.
All right.
Just a gut instinct. That's what athletes call it, I think.
Don't they call that inside information?
Yeah.
Is that legal? Ground ball left side, and that's going to be a base hit for Cabrera.
Back to even
in the book.
Back to even. You know, anytime a ball is hit towards Brandon Crawford, you really got to run it out. 1, 2, 3, about 8, 9 steps, and he tries to complete it. You know, there might be a chance as a hitter, and Mark Sweeney could weigh in on this. Off the bat, you see the ball going. You might think it's going to the outfield. You take that little turn, like you're going to turn around first base. The next thing you know, the throw is coming from Crawford.
Yeah, if you don't have that speed, which Everett Cabrera does have speed, you want to run right through that bag as fast as possible.
Venable steps in, a strikeout and a ground out to first. Padres with 2 more here in the 4th. Double Jerko, 2-run home run Amarista. All 5 runs by way of the long ball today.
Wow. Kelly Crow with 7. We documented that. I'm back to even. Dick, hang with him. And Pomerantz, tell your story walking. Take a hike.
Looks like I'm going to be a second half of the season.
Yeah.
Does it say anything about us that everyone that's doing something we did not pick?
Too close, except for Kelly Kroltz. He's got that inside information.
Yeah. Inside info.
Do we have a commissioner that checks in on that? I mean, it's
what the Gordon Gecko is going on there with this inside trading stuff?
I thought that was called doing my job. No?
That sounds like a good appeal.
You guys are funny.
1-1. Next pitch will be his 80th Vogelsong. Headley waiting on deck.
Not a bad situation for a hit and run here, guys. You got speed on the base pass. Will Venable can handle the bat.
Vogelsong throws strikes.
2-1.
That's a good point, Mark. You talked about the hit and run. It's got to be a good formula. Pitcher throwing strikes around the plate. Good bat control. You've got. You don't necessarily have to have the speed, although it is nice to have speed on first base to get that runner in motion. Cabrera with good speed, definitely first to third on a base knock if he's going.
Out of play. Count goes 2-2 on Venable.
Actually, an easier situation when you are in a hit and run situation. You can look out and see the middle infielders. A lot of those guys cheat when you have a fast guy like Everett Cabrera on first base.
Cheat in what regard, Mark?
Well, they just go closer to second base so you can see who's going to cover, and you can see Brandon Crawford getting closer to second base. They just want to get there for that throw. But with 2 strikes, obviously the hit and run's not on.
It's your second baseman, Scudero. Much greater distance from the bag at second, and he's out on the grass. Struck him out. But the Padres get a leadoff double from Jerko, and Amarista with his first home run of the year. The little man, 369 feet good. 5-1. Baseball on Fox Sports San Diego is brought to you by Petco, where the healthy pets go. And by Farmers Insurance. Contact your local agent at 96. Farmers. Tony Gwynn statue adorning the Park in the Park outside of Petco. Lots of fans enjoying the action from out on the green. As we go to the 5th inning, the Padres leading 5-1 over the world champion Giants. And Vogelsong is going to bat for himself here in the 5th inning. Bochy with that bullpen spent last night. Both teams using all but one reliever. And those starters probably have been told, we got to go with you. We're going to ride you as far as we can today.
And Jason Marquis that perfect starter, I think, because he can throw and throw and throw. They're not going to abuse him out there, but
sharply hit, but to Cabrera, and Vogelsong is out, 1 away. That'll bring up Angel Pagan, who has struck out and flied to left. And another part that is amazing about this game, a pitcher might be struggling, out of rhythm, and then all of a sudden it clicks in and he runs off 5, 6, 7 outs in a row.
Just one pitch, Dick. You're absolutely right. Whether it's a sinker, a slider, you get that feel, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm locked in right now. Remember Andrew Cashner the other night in that 3rd inning after the base hit and walk, he rattled off 12 in a row.
Message aboard with a note on Angel Pagan, the hitter, that he actually 3 years ago against Washington started a triple play and hit an inside the park home run. Hadn't been done for a long time.
Wow, that's
1955.
Wow.
Two and one now to Pagan. Scudero on deck. Giants start today 2 games out of first place. Colorado leading the National League West. Arizona 1 game back. Giants 2 back. The Dodgers 3.5 out, and the Padres 6.5. 3-1. Maybe I spoke too soon. And he walked him. 4 walks now from Marquis. So far, none is scored. So that sets up the double play. The Padres infield supporting Marquis with a couple. Got him out of the 3rd and the 4th inning. Giants with 4 hits and 4 walks, but only 1 run. It's 5-1 San Diego here in the 5th. Runner goes. Throw by Hundley. Not in time. Pagan with an easy steal. Had a running start on Marquis. So no double play situation now. 3rd steal for Pagan.
Let's check out the jump. Yeah, as soon as that front leg went up, kind of an abbreviated slide step for Jason Marquis. And Nick just working under it. You see in the background, Amarista was backing up just in case.
Pitch was taken for a strike by Scudero. Cabrera's got to play at 3rd. Doesn't go there. Takes the sure out at first base for the 2nd out. He was tempted to go to Headley.
Yeah, that's the right play. You want to get that out, right? If you make a bad throw to 3rd place. Remember, it's a tag throw, a tag play at 3rd base. He's thinking about it, but to score 5-1, still plenty of baseball left. Now there's 2 outs. You throw it away or make a bad throw, it can create a big inning for the Giants.
If there was no one out, he might have gone over there in a closer game.
Right. Yes, Mark Sweeney.
Guys, so many times we talk about slowing the game down. Everett Cabrera needs to do those plays. He didn't glove it cleanly at first and made the right decision getting it out. at first base, making it a lot easier for Jason Marquis to throw one pitch and get out of this.
Sandoval has a single and 2 trips. Fly to left field. Pagan stands at third. Padres with a 4-run advantage here in the 5th inning. Two and 0. Posey would be next.
Oh, just a little bit above the strike zone, according to Fox Tracks. It'll be interesting to see this at bat because we talked about it quite a bit to Sandoval, but how many, according to the Fox Tracks, are going to be actual strikes? 3 pitches, no strikes, the count 2-1. He swung it, definitely a ball there, that last pitch.
Line to center, charged by Amarista, can't make the catch. Pagan scores. Sandoval holds it first. It's 5-2. Good effort by Amarista. Almost stole a base hit and a run away from the Giants and Sandoval.
We talked about slide. Oh, you know what? That was a very catchable ball. Looks like his glove or his arm wasn't extended as much as he had liked. Great effort by Alexi. And also credit Kyle Blanks. He was going to back up Amarista. If that ball gets by the center fielder, Kyle Blanks is going to be there to pick his center fielder up.
Ruled a base hit and an RBI for Sandoval, his 19th. Posey, another chance for Cabrera, goes the short way and the inning is over. But on a couple of base hits and a stolen base by Pagan, the Giants get one. We're at the halfway mark of this one.
Going to watch this live. Set your DVRs. Coming up tomorrow at 9:00 p.m. following Padres Live is the premiere of Cup of Coffee with Dick Enberg featuring Chase Headley. Here's a sneak peek.
Well, I mean, there were some differences. One, once the trade deadline got over, that was a big step for me. It kind of was like weight off the shoulders. It was back to, hey, you know what, you're going to be here. You know, this is your team. You know, have fun. I mean, there was a solid month there where I wasn't having a whole lot of fun playing.
Yeah, you can imagine that. Headley was the headline rumor to be traded. the end of July, and he thought he was going to go. And well, you're going to play with the Yankees. You're going to be here. You're going to be there. And then when he stayed with the Padres, had that tremendous second half of the season, won all the great honors, the RBI title, the Gold Glove, the Silver Slugger. Interesting man, very bright. He got the Padres off to the lead with a home run in the first inning today. Then Hundley with a 2-run shot in the second, and Amarista with a 2-run homer in the fourth. All Vogelsong. And as we go to work here in the bottom of the fifth, the Padres lead it 5-2. Headley walked and homered. And he hits this one hard into the right field corner, and that is a fair ball. Rattles off the board. Pence has a good arm. Going to be close, but he's offline with the throw. Headley, home run, walk, and a double today.
Well, Chase got so far out front of this pitch. It's a little cutter. I thought it was going to go foul, but fair by about a foot. And with that play being right in front of him, yeah, Hunter Pence gets to that ball quickly, just offline a little bit. Another great way to lead off this bottom of the fifth inning.
Headley wearing that protective sleeve on the thumb as soon as he gets on base. Yonder Alonso is grounded out and walked. Padres trying to negate the run scored by the Giants in the top half of this fifth inning. Getting another of their own out of play.
Dick, you mentioned, remember, it was March 17th when he hurt the left thumb. Let's check out the slide. See the hands up, and then the hand comes down. And remember, if I remember correctly, he slid to the, when he got hurt, he slid to the outfield side of second base, and his thumb into the bag correctly, kind of under the bag a little bit. There, it was a straight slide into the bag. No problem with the thumb.
Change up, and Alonso in front. 2 strikes to count.
Art Sweeney, the pop-up slide, which I love. Do you think it's a lost art?
Yeah, I do think it's a lost art. And if you watch Tom Amansky videos, you want to throw both of those hands up and not put that down. The tendency is always to go down.
That's
Tom
right.
Amansky taught me not to put them down.
You're absolutely right. The proper pop-up slide, your hands don't touch. You hit the ground, and hence the name pop-up slide, right back up to your feet. You know what we used to do at Giants camp in the minor leagues? One day during spring training, they'd get the 49er pants out, the football pants, because they didn't want to, mess up. So everybody put on the 49er pants. They'd wet down some ground, and they'd have Wendell Kim. We'd get to try to take him out, slide it. He'd be jumping all over the place. But the proper thing, sliding at each part of the bag, working on your technique, is very helpful.
Fly ball to center. Pagan circling into left center. Headley had to play it halfway and returns. Well, that was the spot where Alonso hit 3 doubles last night, but they were on a line instead of the fly ball to left center. Kyle Blanks struck out and grounded out. See the fans enjoying the sunshine and baseball and the view of this great city. And this morning, before coming to the ballpark, I went down to the La Jolla. They have a farmers market there on Sunday, and walking around there, had a little crepe.
Nice.
Cinnamon on there with sugar. And ran into a gentleman from Philadelphia. And he came up, introduced himself, and he said, "I just want to thank you, because when I was a little kid in Philadelphia, I'd always see you on the Charger games and games on the West Coast, and you'd say, 'Oh, a beautiful day in San Diego,' and they take that picture." Right. And I said to myself as a young boy, "I'm going to go to San Diego someday and live there."
Nice.
And so he said he's been here about a year. Of course, it was still green layer and gray this morning in La Jolla. I said, "Well, not so nice right now, but it is a pretty good place to live, isn't it? Somebody's got to live here."
Hey, Dick, all those years doing the NFL and being in the living rooms in kitchens of all those people on the East Coast. You were working for the Chamber of Commerce.
I didn't
right?
know it at the time.
That's right. Selling San Diego.
Blanks hits it high to right. It'll stay in the yard. Pence makes the catch, and Headley will advance to third with 2 away.
Hey, Padre fans, join your Padres Sunday, May 5th, coming up soon as they honor the men and women who support our armed forces with Military Spouse Appreciation Day. Enjoy a special pregame ceremony before your Padres take the field against the Diamondbacks. First pitch is 1:10. Get your tickets today at Padres.com or get on the horn. Dial 619-795-5555. An appreciation for what the spouse does in the military family.
Well, you know, the career military men and their families, they might move 6, 7, 10 times in the lifetime of their children. And it takes special women and men to understand that. Jerko to third. Sandoval's throw on the money, and the inning is over. Leadoff double by Headley, but he's left at third. We've completed 5 at beautiful Petco Park. U.S. Coast Guard Appreciation Sunday, Military Sunday here at Petco Park. Great to have the men and women in uniform. And Chase Headley, one of 3 home runs for the Padres. Hundley with a man on, made it 3-0 or 3-1 at that time. And Amarista with a 2-run shot, 5-1. The Giants came back with a run in the 5th off Jason Marquis, who's been in a lot of trouble, but the double play supporting him. A beauty there. And another off the bat of Blanco. So while he's walked 4 and given up 5 hits, able to hold the Giants to just 2 runs. Pence, Belt, and Blanco to bat in the 6th. Pops him up. Alonso down from first, calling. 1 away.
See how quickly Jason Marquis got to that spot, foul territory. I mean, as soon as that ball was up, he was sprinting in between first base and home plate, hey, just in case to be there. But Yonder Alonso coming in to call him off.
Brandon Belt, walk and a single. In a perfect world, Bud Black will get 7 innings out of Jason Marquis today. Yep. Next pitch will be his 80th. Well, we could give him 7 if
sure
he's economic here. And there's his second out. Alonso taking care of the first 2 outs here in the 6th.
Hey, Major League Baseball and People Magazine have teamed up to pay tribute for heroes. Now through May 17th, visit tributeforheroes.com to nominate an active or former member of the armed forces of the United States or Canada for their chance to represent their favorite Major League Baseball team at the 2013 All-Star Game. Winners will be announced July 10th, so log on now for more details. It's a great way to say thank you as well.
You bet. And would that be terrific for that man or woman to be able to go to the All-Star Game representing their city's ball club? Blanco has singled and grounded into a double play. 2 outs here in the 6th. Base is empty. The only quick inning for Marquis was the first. He retired the side in order, but there's been plenty of base traffic since. 2 of the stars in the 5-man rotation for Bruce Bochy, Zito and Lincecum. We didn't see Matt Cain last weekend in San Francisco, nor the right-hander here in this 3-game series. Fun to watch him pitch. Two and one. Bunted foul.
Nick Huntley like a cat. El Gato in back of home plate.
Well, he was a collegiate cat.
That's right. He was a Wildcat, Arizona. Down in the old Pueblo, Tucson.
By the way, just looking ahead, the Padres on this quick road trip to Chicago, 4 games, and then they're right back next weekend. So the Arizona Diamondbacks, off to a 14-10 start, will be here next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Foul ball. And then the Miami Marlins Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So 6 games on the next homestand. And of course, those tickets available now. Purchase them early and save. Swung out and missed. The changeup gets Blanco. That's a great time for a 3-up, 3-down inning for Marquis. Following Padres baseball on Fox Sports San Diego, and it's brought to you by Sequan, real friendly and real close. And by the Aramco Group, purchase, refinance, reverse. With Kelly Crow, Mark Sweeney, and Mark Grant, Dick Enberg here at Petco, bottom of the 6th inning. Final game of this homestand and this series, the Padres trying to sweep out the world champions just as they dusted San Diego up in the city by the bay last weekend. Amarista last time up hit a 2-run homer. 5-2 lead. Amarista, Huntley, and Marquis scheduled against Ryan Vogelsong. Vogelsong entering the game with a 5.68 ERA, and he's given up 5 runs today, all on home runs. Headley a solo, 2-run shot. Hundley, his second of the season. Amarista's first of the year with a man aboard.
Well, Vogelsong getting up there in the pitch count. That was 97 for the right-hander. He's thrown as many as 108. Actually, back-to-back outings.
This is Amarista's first home run of the season. Straightaway right field. Just past the jack deck. 3-0. Strike.
It'd be nice for the Padres to do some damage this bottom half of the 6th to get out of slam range. As Jose Mijares is heating up in the bullpen for the Giants.
He was the only man in the Giants bullpen that did not pitch last night, and it's a leadoff walk to Amarista. So a single and he scored, a home run with a man on, and now a walk. A big day for Amarista.
Dave Righetti on the phone. See how far along Mijares is.
Third walk offered by Vogelsong. He has 5 strikeouts. That was his 100th pitch. The Giants leave here tonight and go to Arizona and play 3 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Hundley. High fly ball slicing into foul territory. A long run for Scudero, and he can't get there. It's off the runway there by what used to be the visitors' bullpen.
And a fine job by these two right here, taking their seats and running down the line to get out of harm's way. A job well done. Takes a lot of practice.
Well, they've got to have their head in the game constantly. They can't be talking to fans. That's and having little tea and scones down there. Although not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Security and the ball girl. I wonder how they audition for those ball girls. They're so good. They're really talented. Hundley a home run and a line out to left. Into the hole and through. Amarista will pull up at second. Hundley 2 for 3 this afternoon.
Well, Nick Hundley really staying tucked in with that front shoulder and not exposing the front side. On the left, watch it. He recognizes the pitch, head down, and not a lot of body movement. Also, very quiet with the head. Mark Sweeney touches upon that when he talks about swings. And then using the legs, driving with the legs. And a great result for Nick Hundley. Second knock of the day for Nick.
One of 3 Padres with a pair of hits. Headley, Amarista, and Hundley. Total of 8 against Vogelsong. And now Bruce Bochy comes out to talk with plate umpire Estabrook. He's going to make a double switch here, apparently, as the scheduled hitter is Jason Marquis, who would be up there to sacrifice. Andres Torres is going to enter the game and play left field. Blanco comes out. And Torres, you can put in Vogelsong's spot. He'll hit second in the top of the 7th inning.
for the Giants, but it may not matter. The Padres continue this hitting streak, and it all started last night in the bottom of the 4th inning. Bud Black thinks he knows exactly what's behind it, too.
You know, middle of the 4th, you know, that rally squirrel got us going. We put up a 6 spot right after the squirrel, right? You know, I've seen the rally monkey up in Anaheim. But I don't know, this rally squirrel was something. He gave us 6. He did. He ran a hell of a race.
The Lake Elsinore rally squirrel. He does it every night for the Storm. But guys, what a lead he gave the other guy too, and still that was an impressive run. I think the fans loved it.
I have a feeling, Kelly, that rally squirrel is going to be invited back.
I think so. I would. Why not?
That was one of the most incredible things that I had seen. And when that guy took off running and he got like the 30-yard, you know, lead, I was just talking about. Look at what's this about? That's like a 30. That's like a 30-yard heads up, right?
And the lead runner there, he wasn't exactly jogging. He's giving it all he's got. And here comes the squirrel on the outside. The flying squirrel.
I love how he paid it off right here. Gotcha.
The 2013 version of the San Diego Chicken. It's the rally squirrel. Cabrera going after the high limb from Jose Mijares. Runners at 2nd and 3rd for the Padres, a chance to add to their 5-2 lead. Infield playing halfway up the middle, and Sandoval and Belt at the corners right at the edge of the grass or on it.
2 huge runs out there for Everth Cabrera.
Singled through the hole the last time up and falls behind 2 strikes.
And the defense kind of on the shallow side in the outfield, but straight up, and on the infield in as well.
Plenty of time to go. We're just in the 6th, so a 5-2 lead. Not exactly super comfortable. A couple of runs here on a base hit would be very nice, and one was going to come in on that pitch. Got away from Posey. Amarista scores. It's 6-2.
That almost hit Posey in the foot.
I wonder if he was crossed up on that.
I don't know. No visit from Buster out to the pitcher. Let's take a look. Oh, I see. He tried to. Okay, it looks like he hit him in the shin guard. Off the glove and then the shin guard. My goodness, that was a very catchable ball. And if he was crossed up, he would have had a chat with Mijares on getting the sign straight. So a break for San Diego.
Absolutely. 6-2 now the lead, and still only 1 out and a runner at 3rd. It's ruled a pass ball, and that one fouls away.
Wow, pass ball, huh?
Don't see many of those from Posey.
Absolutely, pass ball. I kind of got mixed up there. Very catchable ball. You're right.
So in the inning, Amarista walked to lead off. Hundley singled him to 2nd. Perfect sacrifice by Marquis. Pass ball gets 1 run home and puts Hundley at 3rd base with just 1 out. Chop to 3rd. Sandoval's going to go to the plate, and Hundley keeps going. Now they got the run down. Unfortunately, Cabrera isn't doing much. Now he heads for 2nd. Great job by Hundley to get in the rundown and allow Cabrera to make it all the way to 2nd base. He had stopped at 1st and was an observer for a moment. 5-2, 6-5 on the putout. Cabrera moved to 2nd. Fielder's choice.
Going on contact, and that's just the chance you take. And now, Nick Hundley, you talk about getting gassed, starting and stopping, allowing Cabrera to get to 2nd base. That'll take a lot out of you. Now Cabrera, he sees that the play is going to probably be at the plate. Once he sees Nick Hundley, a lot of daylight between Posey and Sandoval, he takes the extra 90 feet. Heads up play by Everett.
But that was a yeoman effort by Hundley to force 3 tosses. Pretty good job getting almost out of the pickle. Chris Denorfia batting for Venable. with Cabrera at second, 2 out. Venable, one of the Padres with a rough day, a couple of strikeouts and a ground out. Denorfia with a 2-run double last night. There goes the runner. The throw by Posey, out in time. Cabrera's 7th steal of the season. Now that's where you better make it with 2 outs. He goes in, grabbing the bag ahead of the tag of Sandoval. You say, well, when you're leading 6-2, why would he steal third base with 2 outs? Well, they just scored on a pass ball.
Yep.
Sprayed foul. 1-2 Denorfia. Leadoff walk for the Padres, comes around to score. By the mound, Scudero throws out Denorfia. Padres get a run on a walk, single, and a pass ball. It's 6-2.
Mark Sweeney, Mike Pomeranz with you. When we see in the post-game show, how about this power barrage?
Yeah, you got to love seeing the power from the Padres and understanding, too, the day game. Ball's going to fly a little bit more, but nice to see Chase Headley backspinning that baseball to center field. Nick Hundley continues to swing a hot bat. And look at little Lexi driving the ball into that short right field fence.
No shortage of offense today. When we see you in the post-game show, we'll talk all about what you saw on the field. Also, our instructional, Mark Sweeney talks with Dave Roberts about how to steal a bag, and you'll hear from the manager, Buddy Black. We'll see you gentlemen after the final out.
All right, the M&M show. Sweet. Right after the final out here at Petco Park. Marquis back to work, top of the 7th. Crawford, pitcher's spot, and then Pagan. Torres in the double switch is in the 9th spot in the batting order. Marquis jumps ahead 2 strikes. So Vogelsong goes 5 innings plus. Charged with all 6 runs, 8 hits, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Bounces that one in. 5 of the runs were earned. pass ball, counting as an unearned run. Crawford. Well, Vera's had a busy day there at shortstop. We're in a path out to Everett. He had an assist in the first inning. He had not only a double play, started a double play, but a ground out in the fourth inning. A couple of ground outs in the fifth. Actually, all three outs were ground outs to him in the fifth. And now another here to start the sixth.
You know, baseball's such a strange game. And Dick, you know, trying to describe this game to somebody who has no clue would be pretty tough, wouldn't it?
It is a difficult game to explain.
You're on, you know, when you're on offense, you don't have the ball. And we can go on and on and on about baseball. But isn't it weird how the scoring, we just talked about it. Pass ball, not an error, but an unearned run. You'd think it should be an error, right? It's like throwing the ball away.
Well, and in essence, it is an error in a special category.
Right.
And since the pitcher didn't commit that error, and it charged as an unearned run, it shouldn't be penalized for it. One hopper, Alonso. He's just feeling really good about the way he's handling that glove. 2 away.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the San Diego Padres. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
So the Padres trying to make it 4 in a row for the first time this season. And the Giants trying to avoid losing their 5th in a row and the 6th straight on the road. Pagan rifles a single out to right center field. Amarista gets it in. That's the 6th hit today for San Francisco, the first for Pagan. Brings up Marco Scutaro.
And the left-hander, Bud Black, out of the Padre dugout with the slow walk. Jason Marquis is going to lobby to stay out there. Hey, what are you doing out here? Come on, let me get this guy. What a great effort today by Jason Marquis.
6 2/3 innings. He leads with a man at first base, but it's his game to win. Padres need it. Their starter to go deep into the game, and Marquis delivers.
Six-2 here in the 7th. Brad Brock taking over for Jason Marquis, who Leaves doing a tremendous job. You know, one of the things he told me coming into tonight, wanted to work on that fastball command. And when I said, how do you go back and maybe look at that or fix it? He said, interestingly enough, he went back and looked at film from his time of when he pitched with the Rockies, because he felt like at that point in his career, that's where he had the most things working in his repertoire. And I'm sure, Mark, you can kind of think about how that relates to what you did, but I thought that was really interesting from Jason to, you know, talk about that time in his career, and that's what he went back to look at.
Absolutely, Kelly, and it makes a good point, because 2009 when he was with the Rockies, he won 15 games, had an ERA of 4.0, and, you know, pitching at that ballpark in the environs of Colorado, you talk about having to really concentrate and make good quality pitches down to the zone. Yeah, the concentration level and then having to place those pitches effectively. Yeah, I would go back to that as well. And look, you see that he's talking with, who was that right there? He's talking. Oh, Eric Stoltz, about his mechanics and what he was trying to iron out today. So Jason Marquis made a great adjustment this afternoon. That's a good outing in the big leagues.
Brad Brock appearing in his 12th game this year, 10 2/3 innings. He's given up a lot of hits, 15, a .357 average against. 5 runs, 1 home run. And to get Scudero out. There's his report card.
Well, the thing for Brad Brock, when you look at his total line, you take a look at the hits to innings pitched, more hits than innings pitched. It'll take some time to get that that ERA down in the short outings that he has, maybe an inning plus for Brad. But it all starts here this afternoon. Leave that runner stranded for Jason Marquis.
Scudero has grounded twice to Cabrera at short and walked.
But look at that. 8 1/3 consecutive scoreless innings pitched for Brad Brock.
Foul tip. Bluff by Pagan as if he were going to steal, and Sandoval and Posey, the big guns, and Pence to follow. Try to end the inning right here. 6-2 Padres here in the top of the 7th inning. Pagan stole second back in the 5th inning, his 3rd stolen base of the season.
Great effort by Jason Marquis. He'll be really happy with that outing, especially with his compared to his last outing against the Brewers.
Foul back. Both bullpens quiet at the moment. We saw 14 pitchers last night, 7 on each side. That fan is going to go home very happy.
Oh yeah, you know what? This is awesome. Got it on the bounce. Yeah.
That's great. That's like a hole-in-one. You got to buy everyone in your area a drink, don't you?
Okay, yeah. She's the star of the day right there. You betcha. Nicely done. She is so excited.
That's great. Meanwhile, the count's gone full to Scudero. 2 outs. Pagan at first, and now Alonso's going to play behind him. And fouled away. Nice cool breeze at the moment.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Very refreshing. Just enough to ripple Old Glory and freshen the air. High fly ball. Shallow and left. Blanks. Comes in to call off Cabrera. That's it for the Giants in the 7th. Fans stand and stretch And traditionally on these Sundays, military Sundays, the singing of God Bless America. Young man, the U.S. Coast Guard, a great job with the anthem. Mike Dallinger of AIDS to Navigation Team San Diego will perform God Bless America.
Now please welcome back Petty Officer Mike Dallinger from U.S. Coast Guard AIDS to Navigation Team San Diego. Please sing along as Petty Officer Dallinger presents God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Chase Headley leads off the home half of the 7th inning. Chase, a perfect day, a double, a home run, and a walk. Will hit from the right side here for the first time after collecting the 2 for 2 from the left side. That was 2 hits today. Raised his average up to 229 as he's working his way into all-star shape. And by the way, those ballots now are available for the all-star game, and be sure to vote for your favorite Padres. Certainly Headley has a great chance of going to the All-Star Classic in July in New York. He hits this one sharply into the left field corner, and that ball is going to bounce against the boards. And Chase Headley has his 3rd extra base hit. A pair of doubles and a home run for Headley.
Well, as each day goes by for Chase Headley, you take a look on the left, the leg kick, the foot is down. He goes down and gets that low pitch from Mijares, loads up the hands, keeps him back, and throws the head of that shillelagh for the double. Well, what a day at the plate for Chase Headley.
Sunday's been fun day for Chase, that's for certain. Brings up Yonder Alonso. He's walked, grounded out and flied out.
Need to get this run in, Dick, right here. The leadoff double.
Take him out of Grand Slam range.
Absolutely. Make it 7-2.
Padres have done a good job Runners in scoring position the last 4 games hitting .342, and in the last 10 games .309. But today just 1 for 7. With the exception of the pass ball run, the other 5 coming, of course, on home runs. Headley's solo in the first, Hundley's 2-run shot in the second, and Amarista's 2-run homer in the fourth. Padres now with 9 hits today. And that includes 3 homers and 3 doubles. That went into the far end of the Padres dugout, way out in front of Alonso.
Todd Hutchison all over it. And he'll give it to a fan. Nice.
Full count to Alonso. Maharis from Caracas, Venezuela, 28. Awarded the Giants on a waiver claim from Kansas City last August. Way outside, and a walk to Alonso. So 2 Padres aboard, no one out here in the 7th. First walk from Maharis. Kyle Blanks, he's looking for his first hit today. 0 for 3. Strikeout, ground out, fly out.
Oh, he's due, isn't he? Number 88. Come on now.
Grounded to third. There's one. Back to first. Not in time. Now there's another example of how the defenses around the league misjudge the speed of Kyle Blanks. You better hurry, because he can get up that line for a big man as fast as anyone in the National League.
Sounds like it's kind of off the end of the bat. A nice backhand by Sandoval. And it looks like Marco Scudero got a little long going to the ball and kind of bring it. Watch Scudero as we see Kyle Blanks scoot down that line. Scudero just a little long with the arm and getting rid of that baseball. That could have been the difference.
And by outlegging the relay, Blanks positions the Padres at the corners with only 1 out.
Yep.
A chance to pick up that 7th run on and out. Jerko has struck out, doubled, and scored, and grounded to third. Falls behind, 2 strikes. In a 4-run game, Giant infield plays back. So anything by the pitcher that, unless it's a double play velocity, gets another run in. Jerko with a chance to collect his 7th RBI of the season. First and third for the Padres here in the 7th. 1 out. 6-2, San Diego leads. And the count goes 2-2.
Padre hitters have taken some good takes as we take a look at Alexiano Arista waiting on deck. Yonder Alonso, sure he grounded out, but or walked rather. 4-6 second base. Some good takes. That was a good couple takes right here by Jed Jerko this at bat.
Fly ball, not very deep. Penson right, pretty shallow, tagging and coming halfway down, and luckily for the Padres, Headley did not try to go all the way, because that was a perfect throw by Pence. 2 away. And Marista on base 3 times, to score 3 times. Single, home run, walk. You pointed out earlier, Mark Grant, that 6, 7, 8 spots in the batting order produced 5 of the runs.
Doing some damage. Good at bats.
He went around. Line to single, the right field in the 2nd inning, and scored on Hundley's home run. Hit his own home run straight away in right field in the 4th inning with a man on. Walked to lead off the 6th inning and came around to score. Headley at 3rd, Blanks safe lead at 1st. There he goes. Check swing and no play by Posey, and he appeals to 3rd base umpire Wendelstedt. He said nope, he didn't go around, so give Kyle Blanks a stolen base.
Posey's got to go through with the throw there. Oh, he went, no doubt, I think. What do you think, Dick?
I'd have to see that again. First stolen base for Blanks.
Buster Posey's got to follow through with that and let the umpire make the call. Right?
So 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. And he strikes him out anyway. And the Padres leave 2 in the 7th, but maintain a 6-2 lead. On Fox Sports San Diego, brought to you by Petco, where the healthy pets go. Totals after 7 complete, 6-9-0 for the Padres. They've left 7. The Giants 2 runs on 6 hits, no errors, leaving 6 men on base. Big Sunday crowd. 3 home runs to be cheered by Padres fans. They're 6 outs away from a possible sweep of the San Francisco Giants, returning the favor of a weekend ago as our young Marine recruits head back to the base. Great to have you here. Look forward to having a group of Marines and others. It'll be spouses, Military Spouses Day next Sunday, Military Day, with Arizona here. Arizona's leading Colorado by a run in the 9th inning. If they should beat the Rockies, they'll move into a tie for first place in the National League West. Brad Brock will face the big guys in the middle of the lineup for the Giants, Sandoval, Posey, and Pence here in the 8th. 2 for 3 for Pablo. knocked in a run. Out of play.
Well, they're ready.
He's been ready right from the opening pitch, that young chap. He's got the right spirit. Loyal San Diego fan. Going to grow up to be a good one. He's got a great start. 1-2. Lined by Headley into left field. The third hit for Sandoval. Hit 3 last night.
The guy's unbelievable with the bat control. I mean, all his weight is out in front, keeping his hands back and just filleting that ball. Oh, just out of the reach of Chase Headley, too. What a great effort by the Gold Glove third baseman.
He thought he had it. Here's Posey. 0 for 2, a couple of ground outs and a walk.
Going to make sure he gets that breaking ball down as Luke Gregerson is up in the Padre bullpen.
Infield would like to support Brock. Turn their third double play of the afternoon as the shadows start to appear here in San Diego as we approach the 4 o'clock hour. To right field and hit well. To the warning path and gone. Posey cuts the lead in half. It's 6-4 as Buster does just that. Busts one to right. His third home run of the season. It's 6-4. So with no one out, the Giants right back in this one.
I mentioned the breaking ball having to be down, but also the fastball. If you're going to go away to Buster Posey, oh, great effort. Great effort by Chris Denorfia. How close was he? I think this was a catchable ball. Oh, he hit leather. He got leather on it.
Just long enough for Posey to touch him all.
Great effort by Chris. He's got to keep the fastball down as well.
Here's Pence. He has a double in 3 trips. The Giants have their first home run this afternoon. The Padres with 3. And a base hit Pence. Sandoval a sharp single to left. Home run Posey. Pence pulls one through the hole. Now the tying run comes to the plate. And Brock, a disappointing effort, allows all 3 men to reach. 2-run homer and Pence aboard, no one out, and that'll be it for him.
Well, while there's a pitching change, we got time to tell you that you should be at Petco Park Saturday, May 4th. Padres going to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. First pitch is at 5:40. The first 25,000 fans, you're going to take home a new Padres beach towel presented by Cox. Don't wait. Get your tickets today at Padres.com or get on the horn at 795-5555. It's a good quality item.
How's it look here?
Looks great.
Oh, there you go.
I want to see the towel. They don't want to see me. Although, is there a resemblance?
It's a nice one. That's a good one. When is that going to be given away?
May 4th.
May 4th.
Is there a resemblance?
That's next Saturday. First 25,000. All right.
People say I look like the Friar. I don't know.
A little bit. So Brad Brock exits, giving up the 2-run homer and a single, and Luke Gregerson enters with no one out here in the 8th inning.
Well, Luke pitched an inning last night in the 8th. The zeros all the way across for the right-hander. Great numbers. Opponent's only hitting 132. Well, we have a minute. Remember, earlier in the ball game, we posed the question as our AT&T Twitter poll for today: which Padres reliever has been the most dominant this season? Remember using the hashtag Gregerson, Thayer, Thatcher, Brock, or Street. Coming in first is Dale Thayer. Hey, 31%.
Pretty even balloting, though,
Yeah.
as you would expect. You may have influenced the votes by saying you like Thayer. I mean, you're powerful in that regard. You just don't realize the power that you.
I don't know about that.
Omnipotence that you possess. Gregerson. Now some hard digging for the Padre bullpen. As on one swing, the Giants are right back in at 6-4, and they have that tying run coming to the plate with no one out here in the 8th inning. Brandon Belt, Blanco, and Crawford. 3 left-handed batters against the right-hander Gregerson. Padres may look back and rue the fact they've had leadoff doubles in the 5th and the 7th inning from Headley and couldn't get him around. Pence with his lead at first. He goes. And the ball chopped to Alonso. No chance to go to second. 1 out, and Pence moves into scoring position with 1 out. Little hit and run played by Bruce Bochy.
It was a slider, first pitch slider. That's the strength. As you mentioned, Dick, putting that runner in motion to stay out of the double play. Now another runner in scoring position for San Francisco.
Nick Noonan will pinch hit for the pitcher. We've seen him in each of the previous 2 games. Lined out to center field on Friday night and struck out last night. Local lad. Francis Parker High School.
Wow, how did that ball not hit him?
It's amazing how many times that happened. Last night we saw another indication of ball. It just, how can you possibly get out of the way? But the human instincts.
The slider down and in. It just gets his feet out of the way. That ball checked back up. There was a slider.
Good job by Hundley. That
Yep.
ball easily could have
Yep.
bounced farther away and moved Pence over to third. So 2-0 to the pinch hitter Noonan. This rookie is hitting .333, 7 for 21. 3 for 10 as a pinch hitter. And that one bounces foul. Noonan was recruited by Clemson.
Tigers.
Mike Pomerantz's alma mater.
Yeah.
But the offer from the Giants was too tempting, so he signed a professional contract. 2-1 the count. Gregerson working on the rookie Noonan. Jerko for the second out. Pence to third. And Brandon Crawford is the batter. Crawford has driven in a run with a sacrifice fly, and of course had the big 3-run home run last night. So he's 1 for 11 in the series, but has driven in 4 runs.
Luke Gregerson's got to be careful of that slider. Don't leave it middle in. Something that Crawford could turn on. I'm guessing backdoor sliders. Fastballs away. Boy, missed with that one. Nice block by Nick Hundley again.
Almost should be a statistic. How many runs are saved by catchers that
great.
You know, make a tough stop.
Absolutely.
And it would be judgmental, but official scoring is judgmental.
Yeah, they deserve a little bit of love in that category. You're absolutely right.
It's taken for granted. Two 2-0. UCLA Bruin. Brendan Crawford. Boy, we got so many good collegiate baseball programs in Southern California and right here in San Diego. And of course up north. That's a strike, 2-1. San Diego State, University of San Diego, Point Loma, Nazarene, they always have fine teams. And you go up north, you got USC, UCLA, Cal State Northridge.
Yeah, that's right. San Fernando Valley State, right? You used to coach there.
Now Cal State Northridge.
Yeah.
Good pitch, 2-2. Cal State Fullerton, Long Beach State. I mean, you could have just between 100 miles distance, you could have yourself a heck of a baseball conference. All right, 2-2. Brandon Crawford with Pence 90 feet away in a 6-4 game. And the count goes full. Andres Torres is on deck, hitting 9th. Big pitch coming up here. He's ready to hat. Gregerson doesn't want to put that tying run on. Ball 4. Tying run on. First free pass from Gregerson. Torres entered the game in the 7th, grounded to first. For 7 in the 3-game series. And a pesky hitter. Ball 1. Hitting .238 left-handed, .269 from the right side. Two runs in on the 2-run homer by Posey. 2 on. Runners at the corners for the Giants with 2 outs. As they challenge the Padres' 6-2 lead at the start of this 8th inning. Up to 6-4.
Oh, how cute.
Whoops. You better get
There you go.
Duke Blue Devil family. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hunter Pence doing a lot of dancing coming down the line from third, trying to distract Gregerson. Tim Flanagan there as coach at third. Two and one.
Luke kind of off with the fastball, and whatever type of grip he's going to that baseball, trying to rub it up a lot, going to the bill of his cap, going to his mouth, trying to get a good grip. Seems to be off a little bit.
Angel Pagan on deck. Action pitch, 2-1. Fouled away.
You can see the outfield really playing to go the other way. And Marista on the shortstop side of second base and center field.
And they're all back a couple of steps.
Yeah.
Trying to protect against the extra base hit that could tie it up. In the dirt, blocked by Hundley, and there goes the tying run into scoring position. Crawford moving up.
Secondary lead so important, and as a runner at first base, you can see the trajectory of the baseball out of the pitcher's hand. You see it hit dirt, Hundley down to his knees, and as soon as you see that daylight, he were off and running.
Scored a wild pitch, so second and third for the Giants with 2 runs in. And the full count on Andres Torres. And this big crowd sensing the importance of the moment with 2 men in scoring position in a 6-4 game and the count full on the hitter Torres. The Giants fans here, along with the Padre fans, acknowledging the importance of this pitch.
He threw him a slider last pitch. Pitch number 6 there. Good location.
Line to right. Charging Denorfia. What a catch!
Oh my!
Chris Denorfia saves 2 runs and maybe more. Brilliant play by the right fielder. Astros junior star of the game, the little man, Alexi Amarista, who played big today, scoring 3 runs, a single, a 2-run homer, and a walk. And it's Amarista's home run that's the difference maker now, as the Padres have a 6-4 lead. Batting here in the bottom of the 8th inning, George Cantos comes in for the Giants. He's pitched in all 3 games of this series. What a catch by Chris Denorfia, saving the lead.
Oh, you betcha. Chris Denorfia having to go into the right center field gap off the bat. From our vantage point, I thought that ball was going to dive in there, but he is diving, tucks, rolls, holds on to it, and I'll bet you a dime to donuts. And you know how much I love donuts. If you ask Chris Denorfia, that attempt that he made on the Buster Posey ball, his wrist hit and the ball hit the glove. I'm betting Chris is saying, you know what, I got to have that ball. I'm not saying he should have made the catch. He could have made that catch.
I bet Kelly Kroll tried to get Denorfia and see his comments after the game. Cantos to face Hundley, who has a single and a home run and a line out. Harris did a good job, allowed a couple of hits, but no runs. Walked 1 and struck out 1. Cantos worked just a third of an inning last night, gave up a hit. Houston Street getting ready. Friday night he worked a 1-2-3 inning for Tim Lincecum. Padres 2-1 win. (6-4) San Diego. In the 9th inning, the Giants will hit from the top of the order. Pagan, Scudero, and Sandoval gets the hit again. 3 hits today. Strike 3 called. Hundley caught looking. Mark Kotze is going to bat for Luke Gregerson.
Tailing fastball. Middle in.
That's his overall mark. I'd say with a couple of starts as well. But as a pinch hitter, he's 4 for 10. Mark earned a walk in the 8th inning last night as a pinch hitter. Takes a strike. Clips that one back foul. Denorfia is 2 batters away. Cabrera on deck. Late on that swing. Slider.
And Mark going with the sunglasses. Kind of cut down the glare a little bit. He is in the shadow, but the rest of the field sun splashed along with the batter's eye.
And another off to the left. One out, bottom of the 8th. Padres love to get an insurance run here, leading 6-4.
Yeah, time to take out a policy, huh? A little insurance, a run or two.
And spoils another.
A lot of breaking balls from George Cantos. The lefty Kotze is hanging tough.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Cantos, a former Wildcat at Northwestern University. Born, raised, and still lives in Lincolnwood, Illinois. And the count now full to Kotze. Cantos to Kotze. Luke Gregerson. Typically a good job by Luke. Digging out of trouble in the 8th inning. Stranding runners at 2nd and 3rd thanks to Denorfia. Well, the 3 elements have certainly come to play in terms of the San Diego Padre effort today. Starting pitching, home runs, power, 3 homers, and defense. Ooh, that went into the Giants dugout. A couple of big double plays that supported starter Jason Marquis, allowed him to go 2 outs into the 7th inning. 3 home runs, Headley, Hundley, Emerista, and then that great catch by Denorfia with the tying run about to cross home plate when he snared that diving on the grass in right field.
Well, Jason Marquis really battled this afternoon, made some good pitches when he really needed to.
Struck him out.
Hey, get to the park early this Friday, May 3rd, for Padres Beer Fest. You enjoy beer tastings from some of our favorite breweries right here in San Diego before the Padres take on the Diamondbacks. First pitch is at 7:10. Party starts at 5 with $5 beer tasting and live music. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets today at Padres.com or get on the horn at 619-795-5555.
It's going to be a good series with the Diamondbacks. A lot of extracurricular activities. Beer Fest Friday night, the beach blankets or beach towels on Saturday, military on Sunday. Drag bunt by Cabrera, but Belt was looking for it and it was bunted a bit too hard. Padres are gone in order at the hands of Cantos. Here come the Giants in the 9th. That ball hit well to center field. Pagan going back, and Headley will touch them all. And he hits this one deep to left field. No one's going to catch that unless you're a fan. Touch them all. And he hits this one hard and high. Pence going back, and it is gone. Line to right, charging Denorfia. What a catch! Oh my! So power and defense, and the Padres clinging to a 6-4 lead here in San Diego as we go to the top of the 9th inning. Houston Street appearing in each game of the series. In fact, Houston has been in the last 5 games of this homestand, trying to get the final 3 outs. He picked up his 4th save on Friday night, pitched an inning last night. was in the game in the ninth on the way to the 12th inning verdict. He'll face the top of the order: Pagan, Scudero, Sandoval, and anyone gets on, Buster Posey.
And the three hitters due up. Let's see, 5, 10, 14, 2 for 14, according to my math.
Trying to get those tough final outs and secure the win and a winning streak and a sweep. These proud Giants have a habit of coming up with the goods in the ninth inning. Pagan, a single and a walk, a stolen a base and scored. 1 for 3. Change up 1-1. Pablo 6 hits in the last 2 games, 3 today. Another changeup. Extra on the fastball, 89 miles an hour.
Yeah,
2-2.
Absolutely right. And with the location as well. Pinpoint control down and away. Outfield shifted a little bit towards left field line, giving Pagan the left field side.
33,722 treated to another great game. Fouled away. So this 3-game series, 107,000 plus to watch the Padres and Giants. 34. Almost 35,000 Friday night, almost 39,000 last night, and almost 34,000 today. Terrific crowds. And they've been treated. 2 one-run games, 2-1 and 8-7 for the Padres. And now a 2-run game in the 9th inning. And Street trying to close the deal on a weekend sweep. Struck him out. A changeup gets Pagan.
This changeup is effective even though it's down the heart of the plate. Look at that, right down the middle, splits it. But he takes a little bit off that changeup, turns it over. Great pitch.
Marco Scudero, a walk, 0 for 3 today, 2 groundouts and a fly ball to left. Scudero trying to get on there for Sandoval, bring that tying run to the plate. Another chance for Cabrera. 2 away. And here comes the hitting machine, Pablo Sandoval. He's 6 for the last 9. Sandoval. After flying out to left in the first inning, 3 consecutive singles, has driven in a run and scored a run. Padre fans on their feet here at Petco, rooting for that final out. into the mezzanine level. Giants down to their final strike.
Change up here, maybe.
Lined up the middle, another hit for Sandoval. 4 hits today. 7 in these last 2 games, and he keeps the Giant hopes alive and brings up Posey, who hit a 2-run homer his last at bat.
It was a changeup, but it was elevated on contact. You can see right around the belt buckle, just out of the reach of Houston Street.
Amazing hitter. 7 for the last 10 for Sandoval. He's had 4 hits in a game 5 other times. Here's Posey. His home run just out of the reach of DeNorfia in right field the last time up. That cut the lead to 6-4. To right field again. Is it playable? DeNorfia in the corner. Slides and can't quite get to it. Unfortunately, comes out of there okay. That was daring by DeNorfia. He wanted desperately to make the catch.
Hey, he's going to go hard. He eyes the wall, flash look, goes into slide, and then he hits that wall pretty firmly. Knees, even though it's padded, that'll rattle your cage a little bit. Great effort once again by Chris. Going all out, trying to squeeze that last out.
They're not holding on Sandoval, so he'll take second base. Grounded foul. Again, the Giants down to the final strike. The last time the Giants lost 6 in a row on the road was 4 years ago in April. So a win today would be an uncommon defeat for these Giants. Ground ball by the mound. Jerko to first base, and the Padres have done it. After a staggering start, a satisfying sweep of the Giants this weekend. First time in 3 years they've swept San Francisco. The final score, 6-4 for the home side. We go to Mike Pomerantz. Michael.
Hey guys, going to be a great flight for everybody over to Chicago. Coming up on the postgame show, a recap of all of the power and pageantry of the win. You'll hear from Buddy Black and a wonderful instructional on how to steal a base.
Go.